A man started trading at 25. By 30, he had lost $40,000 chasing quick profits, staring at charts every single day. His neighbor started investing the exact same year, with the exact same amount. She never checked her phone, she never panicked. By 30, her money had quietly grown to $90,000. Same 10 years, same starting point, completely opposite outcomes. The difference wasn't luck, timing, or intelligence. It was one decision, made early, that separated a struggling trader from a wealthy investor. In the next few minutes, you'll see exactly what that decision was, why 90% of traders lose everything, and how patient investors win without trying. Watch till the end. Part 1. The trap that looks like a shortcut. James used to believe trading was the fastest way to get rich, not investing, not waiting 10 years. Trading, buy low, sell high, repeat every single day. That's what the internet told him. That's what every flashy ad promised. So at 25, James opened a trading account with $2,000 and a head full of confidence. The first week felt incredible. He made $300 in 2 days. He told himself this was it. The moment everything changed, he stopped saving. He stopped looking at job postings. Why would he? He had found the system everyone else was too slow to see. Nobody tells you what that first win actually is. It's not skill, it's bait. The market gives you just enough early success to keep you hooked, then it starts taking it back, slowly, quietly, one trade at a time. By month 3, James was down $800. He told himself it was temporary, just a correction. So he put in more money. He told himself the next trade would fix everything. That's the exact moment most traders cross a line they don't even see, the line between building a future and gambling with their rent money. Within a year, the app was the first thing James opened in the morning and the last thing he checked at night. Notifications interrupted dinners. Red numbers followed him into sleep. The fear wasn't from losing money anymore. It was from not knowing if he'd lose more tomorrow. By his 30th birthday, James had lost $40,000. Not in one reckless year, but across 5 years of chasing, panicking, and convincing himself this time would be different. Here's what should actually scare you. James wasn't careless. He read books. He studied charts. He genuinely believed he was being smart. And that's exactly why this happens to 90% of traders. Not the reckless ones, the careful ones who think knowledge alone can protect them from fear. Because trading was never really a fight against the market. It was a fight against his own brain, against panic, greed, and the unbearable urge to act when doing nothing was the smarter move. While James was losing sleep and money, someone 3 houses down from him was doing something completely different with the exact same amount of money in the exact same 10 years. What she did looked almost too boring to matter. But it's about to completely change how you think about getting rich, so don't look away yet. Part 2. The woman who did nothing. Her name was Sarah. She lived 3 houses down from James, and she started with the exact same $2,000, the exact same year, the exact same dream of building wealth. But Sarah did something almost nobody finds exciting. She put her money into a simple index fund and didn't touch it. No charts, no 3 a.m. panic checks, no app notifications buzzing every time the market moved 0.5%. She set up an automatic transfer of $200 every single month, and then she went back to living her life. Her friends thought she was missing out. While James talked about his winning trades at parties, Sarah had nothing exciting to say. Her money wasn't doing anything dramatic. It was just sitting there, quietly, in the background of her life, like a plant nobody waters and somehow it still grows. Year 1, her account barely moved. Up a little, down a little. If you looked at it daily, it looked boring, almost pointless. But Sarah didn't look daily. She didn't look weekly. She checked it twice a year, out of habit more than excitement. By year 3, something started happening that she didn't even notice at first. The money she made wasn't just from her monthly deposits anymore. It was making money on its own. interest earning interest, growth compounding on growth. It's a process so slow in the beginning that almost everyone gives up before it gets good. This is the exact moment most people quit. The middle stretch where investing feels like it's not working, where trading feels thrilling by comparison, where doing nothing feels like losing. Sarah didn't quit, not because she had some superhuman willpower, but because she had removed herself from the decision entirely. The automatic transfer didn't ask her opinion. It didn't care if she was scared or excited. It just happened, every month, whether the market was up or crashing. By year 7, her $2,000 and her steady monthly deposits had grown past $40,000. By year 10, it crossed $90,000. She never picked a winning stock. She never timed a market bottom. She never once felt the panic that kept James up at night. The difference between James and Sarah wasn't intelligence, luck, or access to better information. It was one decision made in year 1 that quietly determined everything that followed. And that one decision is something almost nobody talks about because it's not exciting enough to put in a YouTube thumbnail. But once you understand it, you'll never look at trading the same way again. Part 3. The one decision that changed everything. So what was the decision? It wasn't a stock pick. It wasn't a strategy. It was something far simpler and far harder to actually do. Sarah decided on day 1 that she would not try to beat the market. James decided, without realizing it, that he would. That single difference changed everything that followed. Because the moment you try to beat the market, you're no longer investing. You're competing against hedge funds with supercomputers, against algorithms that execute trades in microseconds, against professionals who do this 14 hours a day. James, trading from his phone between meetings, was stepping into a ring with opponents he couldn't even see. Sarah never entered that ring. She didn't try to predict which stock would double. She didn't try to guess when the market would crash or recover. She accepted something most people refuse to accept, that consistent, unglamorous participation beats brilliant, inconsistent guessing. This is the part that breaks people's brains a little. James worked harder. He spent more hours, more energy, more emotional bandwidth than Sarah ever did. And he ended up with less than nothing, a $40,000 loss. Sarah barely thought about her money and she ended up with $90,000. Effort wasn't the variable. Behavior was. There's a name for what kept Sarah on track. Financial psychologists call it removing the decision from the moment. Sarah never had to decide in the heat of a market crash whether to sell. She had already decided years earlier that she wouldn't. The automatic transfer wasn't just convenient. It was a wall between her and her own panic. James had no wall. Every single day, the market handed him a new decision, a new chance to panic, a new chance to chase. And humans, when given unlimited chances to make emotional decisions with money, will eventually make a bad one. Not because they are weak, because that's how the brain is wired under fear and excitement. This is why trading destroys even smart, disciplined people, and why investing quietly rewards people who never even think of themselves as disciplined. The terrifying part is that James could have done exactly what Sarah did. The same app, the same $2,000, the same 10 years. He chose the harder path because it looked faster, and the market made sure he paid for that illusion in full. But knowing this isn't enough, because the real question isn't who was right. It's what you do starting today with whatever money you have right now that determines which one of these two people you become in 10 years. Part 4. Which one are you becoming? Right now, today, you are either making James's decision or Sarah's decision. There is no neutral option. Every dollar you don't invest is a dollar quietly choosing a side. Here's the good news. You don't need $40,000 to start like James did. You don't need to be an expert. You don't even need to be brave. Sarah wasn't brave. She was just consistent, and consistency beats bravery every single time money is involved. Start with whatever feels almost embarrassingly small. $50 a month, $100 a month. The amount matters far less than the habit, because the habit is what removes you from the moment of panic that destroyed James. Automate it. Set up the transfer and then forget about it exists, the same way Sarah did. The version of you that checks the account every day is the version of you most likely to ruin it. The version of you that automates and walks away is the version that ends up wealthy without ever feeling like a genius. Avoid anything that promises fast. Fast is the bait. Fast is what convinced James he had found a shortcut, when really he had found a slow-motion trap that took 5 years to fully close around him. Pick boring. Pick the index fund nobody brags about at parties. Pick the version of wealth building that gives you nothing exciting to post online, because the boring path is the one that's still standing 10 years from now. And give it time, real time, not 3 months, not 6 months, but years, because compounding doesn't reward speed. It rewards patience in a world that has almost completely forgotten how to be patient. James eventually figured this out. At 32, broke and exhausted from years of chasing, he finally opened an index fund of his own. He's not where Sarah is. He lost time he can't get back. But he's no longer losing money he can't afford to lose. And for the first time in years, he sleeps through the night without checking his phone. That's the real ending here. Not that trading is evil or investing is magic. It's that one path quietly builds while you live your life, and the other quietly drains you while pretending to make you rich. You get to choose which path you're on, starting with the very next dollar you earn.
Not next year, not after you save more, right now, today, before this video ends and life pulls your attention somewhere else. Because in 10 years, someone is going to be telling your story, James' story, or Sarah's story. Make sure it's the one worth telling.